Welcome back. You're using as directed. Now, on these plates, I've got 3 yummy-looking food items, and I'm going to ask our audience to try them out and tell me which, if any of these, have meat or have no meat. So come on down, guys. We've got 3 tasters that are lucky enough to have a bit of a feed, and I've got to say I'm a bit peckish myself. So what I want you to do is just nibble, have a bit of a graze, OK? Just start off, grab a fork or grab one of these lovely sausage roll things and just dive in and have a bit of a taste, because I'm going to ask you to pick which, if any, have meat. Just one of our 3 meals has meat. Number 1 features a food product crispy fried in a chilli sauce. Number 2 is pretty obvious. It's a sausage roll. Or is it? And number 3, well, our mystery food has been stir-fried with capsicum, celery and chilli sauce. Jason, what do you reckon? I mean, let's just talk about flavour and texture.
Flavour?
Yeah, I mean...
There's definitely flavour in all of them.
Yeah.
Quite enjoyable. I could go for some more of the first plate.
Dive
Not
in.
sure what it is yet, though.
Dive in. And how do you rate them flavour-wise?
Well, I think this was the yummiest one, definitely.
I reckon the same, yes.
What I'll do is I'm going to get you to basically say whether you think it's got meat or no meat in it. You're going far away, Jason. What do you reckon? Which one of these has any meat, or what do you reckon for the first one here, the one that we liked?
Don't think that's a meat item.
You don't think that's meat?
Don't think that's meat.
OK, what about the sausage roll?
I think this is meat.
OK, and what about that last sort of...
That's not meat either.
Not meat. OK, so we've got no meat, meat, and no meat down the end. What about yourself? How are you feeling?
I'm inclined to agree with Jason. I think that those 2 possibly have no meat, but that one tasted and felt like meat. It chewed like meat.
Oh, that's pretty conclusive there in terms of your
Reckon the same,
perspectives,
yes.
yeah?
No meat and no meat, and I reckon there's some meat in the sausage roll. Definitely, yes. I can taste it.
Well, I'm going to reveal that the only one that has meat is the green dish that's got meat. That's chicken. So what do you reckon, guys?
Well, so the chicken's the tastiest. We all chose that being the tastiest, but I wouldn't have thought that the sausage rolls were vegetarian.
So sausage rolls, I mean, did the job, didn't they, in terms of like replicating meat? And you guys all thought there was meat in there, and there isn't.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
Surprised?
Yeah, I am, yes.
OK, hey, thanks a lot, guys. Take a pew, and thanks a lot. Sit down here. Now, Fiona Carruthers is a nutritionist, and she's also the nutrition manager for New Zealand Beef and Lamb. She likes her meat. Welcome to Users Directed. And I've got a bit of mock meat here for you to have a taste of, just to see what you think.
That wasn't part of the deal. OK, let's try this. Wow, it's a nice-looking piece here.
It's good, doesn't it?
Doesn't look bad at all.
I was surprised by the texture. I found the texture really was very meaty.
It is. It is. Not sure it quite meets the flavour that real meat does, but certainly texture-wise, they've made a pretty good job of it.
But not too bad. Do you eat a lot of meat yourself?
I certainly eat meat, yes.
Right.
I would eat it probably 3 to 4 times a week.
And do we need meat?
We certainly need the nutrients that are in meat, yes we do. The most important things that meat gives us are protein, which we need to grow and develop, and if you've got cuts and wounds, the protein will help you. Probably the thing that meat is best for is iron and zinc and vitamin D, because those 3 nutrients we use much more easily from meat than we do from other foods. But it also contains a range of vitamins, particularly vitamin B12, that you only get in animal foods. So the thing about meat is you get a lot in a little.
Have we always eaten meat as humans?
We've eaten meat for a long, long time, probably up to 4, 5, even they think maybe 7 million years. They found the skull of an early man in Chad in Africa that was about 7 million years old, they think. And the reason they knew he'd eaten meat was because of the type of teeth he had.
Right.
And we actually have canine teeth for chewing meat, and we also have molars for chewing or grinding plants. So that's a really good indicator that we are actually designed to eat a mixed diet, so meat and plants and cereals.
But do we actually need to eat meat? I mean, vegetarianism is, is popular. There are a lot of vegans out there. It'd be fair to say we don't really need to eat meat.
You can get all the nutrients you need if you don't eat meat, but you actually have to eat a lot more of the foods that have those nutrients to get the same amount as you would from meat. So, for example, iron, I mentioned earlier, being probably the most important nutrient to a lot of us. To get the same amount of iron from a small amount of meat, the sort of amount you might get in the palm of your hand, you'd actually have to eat a whole loaf of bread or 2 big cans of baked beans. So you can get the the nourishment, but you just need to eat more of it.
OK, a big question for a lot of people is how much meat should you eat? And I've got a couple of packs here of meat, and I mean, I'd probably wolf that one down in one meal, and that I'd be asking for more.
Right. Okay.
Am I eating too much?
That would probably be quite a big portion. It would
Really?
be
So
quite a
how
big
much,
portion.
I mean,
We
meat
talk
should
about a deck of cards. So that pack of mince is about 500 grams, I think. That should really do 4 people if you made that into a lasagna or some other mince dish.
4 people?
Because you extend it with vegetables and the pasta or the rice, whatever you're having with it. This
It's
steak...
a beef Scotch fillet steak.
It looks lovely, doesn't it?
It does, but again, small.
Well, that should probably do 2 people.
It's 300 grams.
It is. It is.
So, I mean, about 150 grams a person.
Yes, and that's raw weight, so that will, once that's cooked, that will be a little bit smaller.
OK, thanks, Fiona. Now, back to our final part of the caffeine test. And Tony Lambert, I've actually forgotten what we're testing this time.
We're testing memory this time.
OK.
So what we're going to do is we're going to show the participants a set of objects, just show them one at a time, just show a sequence of them, and when I get to the end of the list, they just have to try to recall them immediately and write down as many as they can remember. Now, we've already done this test once before. Same as the other test, we've established a baseline for how many they can remember, and then we're going to repeat the test and compare the caffeine group with the non-caffeine group to see if there's any effect on memory.
Hey, guys, come on down and get ready for the memory test. Good luck here. Now, what we're going to do, as Tony said there, he's going to show you these items, and then we're going to stop, and then it's up to you to remember and write a list, as many as you can remember, and then we'll be able to test exactly how good your memory is.
OK.
OK, shall we get underway?
Yeah.
Thank you.
OK, you ready? Everybody? OK.
OK, get writing. A bit of speed writing going on over here.
OK, I think time's up.
Time's up. OK, pens down, please, everyone.
OK, the 10 objects I showed you were apple.
So if you tick each one, and then we'll tally those up.
Yeah. Screwdriver, tape, chalk, screw, stamp, mince, key, coin, and lipstick.
OK, time for scores on the doors. And Yvette, let's see how you've got on.
8.
8. Now, Tony, how did Yvette do on the first round?
The same.
OK.
Same score.
Well, pretty consistent. Tyrone, what's the scores on the doors for Tyrone?
6. OK. 8 the first time.
8 the first time. Did he have coffee?
No, he had decaffeinated.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about Yvette, though, with the 8s on the even?
Yvette had caffeine.
Right.
Yvette had the caffeine. So Yvette stayed the same, and Tyrone's performance actually went down a little bit.
He's decreased. So with coffee, you've stayed the same. Without caffeine at this stage, you've gone down a bit. Anya, how are you getting on down there?
8.
So Anya improved an awful lot because Anya got 4 the first time, so she's gone up to 8. But she had decaf.
She had decaf.
Yeah, she
OK, so improvement there without the caffeine. And finally, down the end, how'd you get on?
I got a 9.
A 9.
9. OK.
So Ben improved because he got 7 the first time.
So did Ben have caffeine?
Yes, Ben had caffeine. Yeah.
So what do you make the results?
There's no real clear effect there, and in fact that also fits in with what the research has shown, because what the research shows is that people do get better on very simple tasks, but more complex tasks such as holding these things in memory, there's no real clear effect. There are some studies that do find a caffeine effect, but there are just as many studies that don't find an effect.
OK, well, guys, take a pew. In fact, cruise on back to the workstation here, because Fiona, just keen to get you to come over here and join Tony and myself. Thank you. You're a nutritionist. What's happening physiologically when we have caffeine? I mean, we've seen today that people are more alert, memory, there's been a subtle change, but what's happening to us metabolically?
Well, as we said earlier, it is a stimulant, so it will stimulate more than just your brain. Certainly, some people feel their heart rate go up. But I think the important thing to remember about caffeine is that everybody's different. So I might be able to sleep at night, but you can't, and we could drink the same amount of coffee. So people are affected very differently, and the feeling now is is that to get the best from coffee without having a detrimental effect, about 3 to 4 coffees a day is probably about the right amount. But that's a single shot espresso flat white, as we were making earlier. So if you're a long black drinker, then you're getting a double shot each time, and some cafes do double shots as their standard, so it's worth finding out.
Why do athletes use caffeine? Because it's become really popular, isn't it? It has a sort of a power drink as a sort of an additive, as a supplement.
Again, it will just stimulate an awful lot of what's going on, so your heart rate, your alertness, all that sort of thing. But the jury's still out, to be honest, as to whether it really is important for athletes or not.
Do you drink coffee?
I certainly do, yes.
And what's your poison and how much?
My poison is a huge, great bucket of trim latte.
Okay.
But I would just say earlier, Jason mentioned the calcium in the milk. Trim milk actually has as much, if not just slightly more, calcium.
Right.
So, and if you are drinking a lot of coffee, you are getting a lot less fat by having trim milk.
Right.
So, because I have a bucket, I have trim milk.
Thanks, Fiona, and thanks to Tony. And that's us. Hey, thanks to everyone that's participated today, and from us here at Use As Directed, keep reading those labels. And why not drop us a line? You can email us. That address is useasdirected@tvnz.co.nz. Drop into the website, which is tvnz.co.nz/useasdirected. And you can follow us on Twitter, and our feed is Use As. Hey, see you soon. Well, thanks, guys.
Next time on Users Directed, it's all about kids. From how to buy shoes for them to possibly the best school project ever. Imagine getting to design an ice cream flavour from scratch and getting rid of the chippies and biscuits syndrome in The Cheap Life.